Nothing really distinguishes the original inhabitants from those who came to live among them in the modern period than the difference in how history was recorded. And as you've already touched on, Native history is mainly oral history, as opposed to, and as you said with mirrors, great example, how there's your first really substantial concrete view of how the people lived.
Yes.
So how difficult is it for a historian to dig through these things, and how much can you take the oral history and use it, or how restrictive is it?
It stands by itself. It is a history, and lots of legends were recorded by distinguished ethnographers, Sapir, Swadesh, Colpert, to give you three names, about Clayoquot Sound, and they're wonderful testimonies of the ideas and the legends and the tales, heroic and non-heroic, related to the seas, the sea gods, the life of whaling, and so forth. These are important testimonials. But as chronology for these people seemed to not go beyond the seasons, and they lived in an annual round, which was important to their sustenance. For example, they had to put enough salted or dried salmon up to last them through the winter. Otherwise, they would be in a very difficult circumstance. The other thing in terms of chronology is that the families were linked matrilineally and patrilineally, and Wickaninnish was the second of importance to Maquinna, who was at Nootka. But, and here I get this out of a document from 1837, written by a Royal Navy explorer, he finds in asking Maquinna who's first, Maquinna at Nootka says, "Oh no, Wickaninnish is now the most powerful chief. We recognize him as our number one."
Quite politics.
So this, how would I be able to determine how Wickaninnish succeeded Maquinna? Only through that report of that naval officer of 1837. So bingo, that to me was really an important testimonial, that the Wickaninnish, if I were to ask Wickaninnish in 1837 how did he stand on this, he might say, well, I'm the most powerful chief, but when you get it being authenticated by the person who used to be the most powerful chief, then, as I say, bingo, you've got a definite proof there that these things are shifting. And then we get to such things as the famous Clayoquot War of 1855, which is the last Indian war, quote unquote Indian war, in which Indians or tribes and peoples, they're all Nuu-chah-nulth. Don't get me wrong, they're all Nuu-chah-nulth people, but they're waging war against one another. And that's described in the book. We don't need to get into that now, but that is an indication that they, in the histories that they have subsequently written by Peter Webster as one of the very better ones of them, date it to 1855, as did Colpert in his important anthropology study. So the chronology begins to become more certain as we get into modern times.